To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
So my dear children, in the earlier chapter, we discussed several MCQ questions related to the 9th lesson, the evolutionary process. So here within this chapter, we'll be mainly focusing about the essay type questions related to the evolutionary process lesson. So you are given with several questions in here as the second type. So here you need to write down the correct answers. First question given, describe the evolution in brief. So what do you mean by evolution, my dear children? Evolution means here the development of simple organism into modern complex organism. That is what do you mean by the evolution throughout the time, right? So we can write the answer like this. Development it's better to include gradual development. Right? Gradual development of simple organism into modern complex organism. Is called evolution. Right. So what do you mean by evolution, my dear children? It is the gradual development of simple organism into modern complex organism, right, is called the evolution. So gradual development of simple organism into modern complex organism is called evolution. So during the evolution process, when the time is going to pass by, simpler organisms is getting converted into mature complex organism, my dear children. Okay. Next one, write 5 examples for fossils. You need to write down 5 examples for the fossils. 5 examples for the fossils. So, first of all, let's see what kind of a thing is called a fossil. Mainly a fossil means a preserved part of body, right? A preserved part of body, or else a preserved trace of a certain body of an organism. Okay, so that is the one which is referred as the fossil. Okay, a fossil. So you need to write down 5 examples for the fossils in here. 5 examples for the fossils. Okay, so we'll write down number 1. Preserved skeletons. Comma, teeth. Of organisms. Right? Preserved skeletons, comma, teeth of organisms. Next one. Preserved bodies of extinct animals. Preserved bodies of extinct animals. Next one, number 3. preserved footprints of animals. Number 4, small organisms trapped on tree resins. Right, tree resins. Then number 5, preserved shells of organisms. Right. So these are several examples for fossils. Number 1, preserved skeletons, teeth of organisms. Okay. These are very tough things, so it will take longer time to decade. Right. Next one, preserved bodies of extinct animals. Right. So you know that animals like mammoth. So bodies of these animals been trapped on polar ice. So these bodies can be taken as fossils. Okay. Next one, preserved footprints of animals. So footprints of dinosaurs and mammoths can be considered as fossils, my dear children. Okay. Then next one, small organisms trapped on tree resins. So small organisms which trapped on tree resins can be considered as fossils. Then preserved shells of organisms. Right? Preserved shells of organisms can also be considered as fossils. Okay, so these are several examples. So you have to mention 5 examples. So these are the examples for fossils, my dear children. Right? Okay, then let's head on to see the next question. Explain the contents of the given theories in brief. So you have to explain the contents of given theories in brief. First one, theory of a special creation. So theory of a special creation reflects that the life on earth is created due to supernatural force. So we can write the answer. Life on earth created by a supernatural force. Supernatural force. This is the main fact included within the theory of a special creation. The life on earth created by a supernatural force. Okay, next one, cosmosonic theory. So in cosmosonic theory, what the main fact is? So over there we discussed that cosmosonic theory. Within the cosmosonic theory, my dear children, it is reflecting that the life on earth originated from a celestial object that came from the outer space. Right? So life came to the planet earth from a meteoroid or else from a celestial object. That can be a spaceship. So we'll mention that thing as a celestial object. So we can write the answer. Life came to planet earth we'll just mention as earth. Life came to earth by a celestial object. life came to Earth by a celestial object. That reflects the cosmozoic theory. Next one, spontaneous generation. So in spontaneous generation, we discussed that non-living materials automatically came up with life. That is, what do you mean by the spontaneous generation? Non-living materials automatically came up with life to create living materials or living beings. So we can write the answer. So living organisms created from non-living matter. Naturally. So living organisms created from non-living matter naturally. That is the explanation, or that is the key point contained within the spontaneous generation theory, my dear children. So three main theories. Theory of special creation, life on earth created by a supernatural force. Cosmozoic theory, life came to earth by a celestial object. C, which is the spontaneous generation theory. Living organisms created from non-living matter naturally, right? So these are the contents, right, of the theories which is given in the third question, my dear children. Right then, right, correct answer. So here the third one, it is a continue, right? So we discussed earlier the three main types of theories related to the origination of life. Now they are asking about the origination of planet Earth. So there are two different contents here. Number one is Big Bang theory and the second one is the nebula theory. So in Big Bang theory, what has happened? An energy bolt, okay, an energy bolt exploded, or else explosion happened within an energy bolt, created celestial objects. That is the main or the key content contained within the Big Bang theory. So we can write explosion occurred within an energy bolt created celestial objects, including planet Earth. So here the Big Bang theory, the firstmost theory, okay, which is given for the origination of Earth, my dear children. Explosion occurred, right, explosion occurred. So explosion occurred within an energy bolt, created celestial objects including planet Earth. So this is what do you mean by the Big Bang theory. Next one, nebula theory. So in nebula theory, it explains that dust particles drift together dust particles drift together to create celestial objects dust particles drift together to create celestial objects, including planet Earth, including planet Earth, including planet Earth. So dust particles drift together to create celestial objects, including planet Earth, because of gravitational force. So this is the meaning, or this is the main content that can be observed within the nebular theory. Dust particles drift together to create celestial objects, including planet Earth, because of gravitational force, right? Because of the gravitational force, dust particles drift together in creating celestial objects. Then the next one. Mention 3 types of gases that present in primitive Earth. 3 types of gases. There was carbon dioxide, and methane, and hydrogen sulfide. Right? So carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen sulfide. If I'm going to write down the chemical names, it's like this. This is CO2, this is CH4, and this is H2S. Chemical formula for the substances or for the gases, right? So carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen sulfide was available. Then the next one, write 3 significant facts about the primitive Earth. Significant facts about the primitive Earth. Number 1, there was no oxygen. There's no oxygen gas, right? Number 2, volcanic activities were high. Volcanic activities were high, very high. Number 3, third one, having or had high temperature. Three facts about the primitive Earth. There was no oxygen gas. Volcanic activities were high, had high temperature, right? There was high temperature within the surface. So always when you're writing down the answers, make your answers quite simple so that everyone can understand. That's how to score more when you are given with tougher questions, my dear children. Okay? Right then. Mention the types of first multicellular organisms on Earth. The types of first multicellular organisms were, number 1, Cnidarians. Cnidarians, right? Cnidarians. Next one, Nidarians, Annelida, and third one would be arthropods. Right? So these are the three main types of multicellular organisms that evolved first during the evolution of Earth, right? Evolution of the life on Earth. First type was Cnidarians, and the second Annelida, and the third type was arthropods, right? Arthropods. Next one. Arrange the given organisms in ascending order of their existence. Ascending order of their existence. That means from the starting one to the end. Okay, final one. So first of all, from these organisms, bacteria was there. Bacteria. Then, right, algae. Algae. After that, Cnidarians. Then, non-flowering plants. Right? Non-flowering plants. Number 3, non-flowering plants. Number 4, then finally flowering plants. So this is the order. First of all, bacteria cell, then bacteria developed into autotrophic algae, then algae developed into forming Cnidarians and Annelids and arthropods, which were the first multicellular organisms. Then non-flowering plants were created. After that, flowering plants originated. Okay, so we'll write down the order, my dear children. First of all, bacteria. Then from bacteria, or else we can put a comma. From bacteria, algae. Then from algae, Cnidarians. From Cnidarians, non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants. Then from non-flowering plants, finally flowering plants. Okay, bacteria, algae, Cnidarian, non-flowering plants, then finally flowering plants. Okay, so this is the order. Bacteria was number 1, then algae, then Cnidarians, then non-flowering plants, finally flowering plants. Okay, so this is the order, my dear children. Right, then we'll move on to see the next question. Briefly explain how mammals evolved to the earth. So you have to explain in brief how does the mammals evolved. So we can start from the bacterial cell. Bacteria evolved into algae. Algae evolved into Cnidarians, or in simple we can say that invertebrates like Cnidarians. Then Cnidarians, invertebrates like Cnidarians and arthropods, they were developed into first type of vertebrate, the fish. Then fish were developed into amphibians. Amphibians developed into reptiles. Then reptiles are the ones which were developed into birds and mammals. Okay, so we can write down the answer, right? In explanation of the mammals, we can write bacteria developed into algae. Then algae into invertebrates like cnidarians. These invertebrates developed into fish amphibians and reptiles. Then from reptiles birds and mammals evolved. Right, so this is the brief explanation about the evolution from a bacteria to a mammal. Okay, so bacteria developed into algae, then algae into invertebrates like cnidarians, then these invertebrates developed into fish, amphibians and reptiles, then from reptiles birds and mammals evolved. So this is the evolution, the whole evolution process that has occurred within the planet Earth, my dear children. Right. Next one. Briefly explain how evolution occurred in Earth to create all forms of life. So how evolution occurred in Earth? So it's really simple, my dear children. Started from a unicellular organism, creating algae, then invertebrates, then vertebrates, and from the algae flora was created, then from flora flowering and non-flowering plants originated. Okay, so we can write the answer like this: from bacteria, algae was created, then multicellular invertebrates, like cnidarians, then fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, were created. Then from algae non-flowering plants, plants were created. Right. So from bacteria, algae was created. Then multicellular invertebrates like cnidarians, then fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals were created. Then from algae, non-flowering plants, flowering plants were created. And before that, you know that flora was there and less evolutionary features. Plants with less evolutionary features were also there, right? But I have mentioned only the main parts like flowering and non-flowering. So this is how the evolution occurred in Earth to create all forms of life, my dear children. Right. Then the next question. Write 5 examples for living fossils. 5 examples for living fossils. Number 1. Coelacanth. Coelacanth. Number 2. Lungfish. Number 3. Dragonfly. Number 4. Cockroach. Number 5. Lingula. Lingula. So coelacanth, lungfish, dragonfly, cockroach and lingula are examples for living fossils. Next one. Mention 3 examples for extinct animals. Extinct animals, my dear children. We wrote these things in the earlier questions as well. Number 1, dinosaur. Dinosaur. Number 2, mammoth. Number 3, dodo bird. So these animals were extinct. Okay. So I told you that dinosaurs were extinct mainly because of the asteroid hit, mammoths because of the climatic changes, and dodo birds because of the excessive hunting. Right? Okay. Then let's head on to see the next question, my dear children. Why oxygen was absent in primitive Earth? So, like I said, my dear children, oxygen was absent in the primitive Earth due to absence of photosynthetic organisms. As there were no photosynthetic organisms, oxygen was absent within the primitive Earth. So we can write the answer. Photosynthetic organisms were not there. Therefore, oxygen gas was not available, was absent. Within brackets, we can mention photosynthesis is the main process that release oxygen. Right? Within brackets, we can include this thing. So, photosynthetic organisms were not there. Therefore, oxygen gas was absent. Within brackets, my dear children, I have included photosynthesis is the main process that release oxygen, right? Oxygen gas. So photosynthesis is the main process that releases oxygen gas. So if there are no photosynthetic organisms, then my dear children, we won't be able to observe oxygen gas in the primitive earth. So this is the reason. Right. Next one. Describe the meaning of fossils in brief. Fossils. In simple, we can say that preserved traces of organisms or bodies of organisms. Right? So we can write preserved parts of organisms, bodies, preserved parts of bodies of organisms, right, can be considered as fossils. So parts means it can be any kind of a part, a skeleton, teeth, then footprints. Okay, those also can be taken, right? So any kind of a preserved body part or else a body can be considered as a fossil. Next one. Evidences about evolution of the mankind were found in Sri Lanka. Write five areas that we can get evidences about the evolution of the mankind. So number 1, Balangoda. Pomparippu. Kuruvita. Pahiyangala. And number 5, Palangoda, Pomparippu, Kuruvita, Pahiyangala, and number 5, Batadombalena. Right, Batadombalena. So from these areas we can get several information about the evolution of mankind, my dear children. Right, Balangoda, Pomparippu, Kuruvita, Pahiyangala, and Batadombalena. Next one. What is called as a living fossil? What is called as a living fossil? So living fossil means an organism which was not evolved from or throughout the time. Okay, so we can write an organism which was or which is not evolved, right? An organism which is not evolved. So an organism which is not evolved though many years have passed, right? Organism which is not evolved, right? Though many years have passed can be called as a living fossil, right? It is the one which is called as the living fossil, my dear children. So an organism which is not evolved though many years have passed is called as a living fossil. Right then, so let's head on to see the next type of question. So put a tick or a cross for the given statements. Origin of Earth took place about 4.5 billion years ago. This is correct, no problem. 4.5 billion years ago, origin of the earth occurred. It is correct. Origin of life on earth took place about 5 million years ago. Origin of life on earth took place about 5 million years ago. Incorrect. Origin of life occurred 3.5 billion years ago. Next one. The first organism was unicellular in our earth. Correct. First organism was unicellular in our earth. Next one. Cosmogonic theory was disproved by the scientist Louis Pasteur. Incorrect. Louis Pasteur disproved the spontaneous generation theory. So it is incorrect. Next one. Earth was originated by Big Bang. Correct. Earth was originated because of the Big Bang, right? According to the modern theory, it is stating that Earth was originated mainly because of the Big Bang. So it is correct. Next one. The evolution of human took place about 12 million years ago. Evolution of human took place about 12 million years ago. Correct, my dear children. Evolution of modern human took place about 5 million years ago. The evolution of human, however, took place about 12 million years ago. Is correct. Next one. Fish are considered as the first type of vertebrates on earth. Correct. Fish are considered as the first type of vertebrate. It is correct. Birds and mammals mainly evolved from amphibians. Incorrect. Birds and mammals mainly evolved from reptiles, right? Not from the amphibians. Birds and mammals evolved from the reptiles, my dear children. Next one. Coelacanth was discovered in the sea near South America. Incorrect. Coelacanth was discovered in the sea near South Africa, not South America. So this is incorrect. Lingula is found around the sea in Trincomalee area. Correct. Near the Tamalangamua Bay in Trincomalee area, we can observe this special creature called Lingula, right? Next one. Evolutionary history of horse is not completely studied. Incorrect. There was enough fossil evidence even to identify the evolutionary history of horse. Okay, and it is being represented to the world as well. We even have studied that thing within our lesson part. Okay, so it is incorrect. Charles Darwin is considered as the father of evolution. This is correct. Charles Darwin is considered as the father of evolution, my dear children. So it is correct. So these are the answers for the question. Number 1. Origin of earth took place about 4.5 billion years ago. It is correct. Next one. Origin of life on the earth took place about 5 million years ago. It is incorrect because it should be about 3.5 billion years back. Next one. First organism was unicellular in our earth. It is correct, no problem. Cosmogonic theory was disproved by scientist Louis Pasteur. Incorrect, because Louis Pasteur disproved the spontaneous generation theory. Next one, Earth was originated by Big Bang. That is correct. Evolution of human took place about 12 million years ago. Correct. Fish are considered as the first type of vertebrates on Earth. Correct. Birds and mammals mainly evolved from amphibians. Incorrect, because birds and mammals mainly evolved from reptiles, my dear children. Next one, coelacanth was discovered in the sea near South Africa, not in South America. So it is incorrect. Lingula is found around the sea in Trincomalee area. Correct. Evolutionary history of horse is not completely studied. Incorrect. It is being studied. Even the fossil information is there. Next one, Charles Darwin is considered as the father of evolution. It is correct. So these are the answers for the question number 3, my dear children. Now let's head on to observe the next question. Complete the table given. So once again, you need to complete the table given in here. So several theories are given: cosmogonic theory, nebular theory, spontaneous generation theory, Big Bang theory, right? So you need to write down the main argument. Cosmozoic theory. Very simple, my dear children. Life came to Earth. Life came to Earth by a celestial object. Right? Life came to Earth by a celestial object. This is the argument in cosmozoic theory. Next one, nebular theory. Created by dust particles due to gravity. So like I said, my dear children, it's more probable to keep your answer in simple. By that way, you can score more. But when you keep the answer in simple, remember to write to the point. Okay, to the point of the question. Okay, so here, celestial objects created by dust particles due to gravity. That is the content in nebular theory. So always you have to write the answers in simple, but to the exact point. Next one, spontaneous generation theory. Non-living things came to life to create or to form, right? Non-living things came to life to form living organisms. So this is the main argument present within the spontaneous generation theory. Non-living things came to life to form living organisms. Next one, Big Bang theory. Explosion in an energy vault. Explosion in an energy vault created or formed celestial objects. Right. So, cosmozoic theory, life came to Earth by a celestial object. Okay, like a spacecraft or else a meteor. Nebular theory, celestial objects created by dust particles due to gravity. Nebular theory. Next one, spontaneous generation, non-living things came to life to form the living organisms. Big Bang theory, explosion in an energy vault formed celestial objects, including the planet Earth. Okay, so these are the main theories that we can identify within this given table, my dear children. Right, then let's head on to the next question. Question number 5. Write the correct answers using the given experiment. So an experiment is given. Here you can observe a sealed flask. Now this is meat. You can clearly observe it is meat or flesh. This is flask A. This is flask B. It is also covered with a gaze, right? And this is flask B. Once again, you can observe the presence of meat. Then the third flask, it is open and it is open to the external environment, and we can observe that flies are even on the part of flesh or meat in here at the third one. Okay, and within the surface of the meat you can observe the maggots, right? So within A and B, my dear children, maggots are not available, right? Maggots are available in the B but not on the meat. But in C, you can clearly observe on the meat, maggots are available. So let's go for the questions now. According to the figure, which vessel contains maggots? So we can directly say that C is the correct answer, not B, because within the meat we can't observe maggots. So therefore, our answer should be C. Next one. In which vessels we can't observe maggots? So there are two answers, A and B. In both we won't be able to observe maggots, right? Then the next one. Mention the reason for having maggots in the vessel you are mentioned. On C, there was maggots. It's mainly because the flies are the ones who are going to breed maggots, my dear children. Okay, flies are the main reason for the occurrence of maggots. So therefore, flies, the behavior of flies is the reason for creation of maggots in the vessel C. However, maggots will not be able to, or maggots are not getting created within A and B, because flies are not able to go and visit on the, or go and lay eggs on the meat available on A and B. However, flies will be able to go and lay their eggs on meat in the C. So that's why in C there is maggots, and on A and B there are no any maggots. Okay, so we can write the answer. Mention the reason for having maggots in the vessel you have mentioned. So in C, flies can enter to the meat. Maggots are created when So in C, flies can enter to the meat. Maggots are created when flies lay eggs on meat. So maggots are created when flies lay eggs on meat. So in C, flies can enter to the meat without any trouble. So therefore, maggots are available only in C. Right. Then the next one. Mention the reason for not having maggots in the vessel you mentioned. So in other vessels, flies will not be able to come in contact with meat. Therefore, they will not lay eggs. Right. So in other vessels, my dear children, flies will not be able to come in contact with meat. Therefore, they will not lay eggs on the meat. So that is the reason that we can't identify or that we can't see maggots in the vessels A and B, my dear children. Right. Then the next one. Explain the purpose of this experiment. So what is the purpose of this experiment? By doing this experiment, we can disprove the spontaneous generation. We can say that living animals are not getting created from non-living organisms or non-living things. In order to create a living organism, in order to generate a living organism, there should be a living organism, right? So living organisms are the ones who are reproducing living organisms. Non-living things do not have the ability to create living organisms, right? So we can write the answer. Living organisms are created by living organisms. Right? Living organisms are created by living organisms. Non-living things will not be able to form living things. Right? So living organisms are created by living organisms, my dear children. Non-living things will not be able to form living things. Okay, so non-living things will not be able to form living things. So this will disprove the spontaneous generation theory. Okay, right. Next question. Who was the first scientist to do experiments regarding above purpose? The first and foremost scientist to do experiments regarding the above purpose was scientist right. So you know that this is the spontaneous generation theory, my dear children. So the first scientist who carried out experiments to disprove the spontaneous generation theory was scientist Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. Right? Scientist Louis Pasteur was the first person to disprove this spontaneous generation theory by doing these kinds of experiments. Okay, right then. So let's head on to observe the next question. Right. Gas, so here you need to complete the table. So you need to complete the table about the special theory, regarding the special theories. And these are the facts which are included. Gases in the atmosphere react each other to create life in Earth. Gases in atmosphere react each other to create life in Earth. So this is about the biochemical evolution, right? This is the biochemical evolution theory. So you can write the answer. Biochemical evolution. This is regarding the biochemical evolution theory, right? In that theory, the fact included, this fact was included. What is the fact? gases in the atmosphere react each other to create life in Earth. Next one. Life on Earth created from a fallen meteor with living organisms. Fallen meteor with living organisms. This is regarding the cosmozoic theory, right? So this is the theory, my dear children, the cosmozoic theory. It is the theory which explains about the fallen that the life on the Earth has got created because of the fallen meteor, right? And also it reflects about the spacecrafts as well. Cosmozoic theory. Cosmozoic, right? Yes. Cosmozoic. Cosmozoic theory. Right then. Next one. Life was originated from non-living things naturally. So this is regarding the spontaneous generation. Spontaneous generation, right? Spontaneous generation theory. Next one. Living organisms on Earth were created by a supernatural power. So this is the theory of a special creation, right? So special creation theory. Special creation theory. Next one. Small particles of materials in the universe drift together by the force of gravity. This is the nebular theory, my dear children. Nebular theory. Next one. Giant explosion took place in an energy source and large clouds of dust particles were created. Very simple. It is the Big Bang theory. Big Bang. Finally, life on Earth created by spacecrafts from other planets. Once again, it reflects the cosmozoic theory. Right? Cosmozoic theory. Right, so these are the special theories, my dear children. Gases in the atmosphere react each other to create life in Earth. Biochemical evolution. Life on Earth created from a fallen meteor with living organisms. Cosmozoic theory. Life was originated from non-living things naturally. Spontaneous generation theory. Living organisms on Earth were created by a supernatural power. Special creation. The theory of a special creation. Next one. Small particles of materials in the universe drift together by the force of gravity. That is the nebular theory. Giant explosion took place in an energy source and large clouds of dust particles were created. That is the Big Bang theory. Life on Earth created by spacecrafts from other planets. That is once again reflecting about the cosmozoic theory. Right? So these are the special theories, my dear children. Right? So let's head on to see the next question. Write the correct answer. So here it is given. You need to write down the correct answer. Blank is the first theory to explain origin of the solar system. Right? To explain the origin of the solar system, this is the first theory. So first theory to explain about the origin of solar system was nebular theory, my dear children. Nebular theory. Right? Nebular theory. So nebular theory is the first theory to explain origin of the solar system. Right? Nebular theory. Next one, our solar system was created in the galaxy called Milky Way. Milky Way galaxy. Within the Milky Way galaxy, our solar system and our planet Earth can be observed. Next one. Initially, the Earth had been a very blank planet, blank life. So it had been a very hot planet with or without life. So initially, Earth had been a very hot planet without life. Next one, Earth crust was created by light silicon rocks. Light silicon rocks. Next one, presence of blank and absence of blank gas is a significant fact in primitive Earth. Presence of carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide. And absence of oxygen gas. So presence of carbon dioxide and absence of oxygen gas is a significant fact in primitive Earth. Next one, different materials necessary to create life were dissolved in primordial soup, right? Primordial soup. Right, then the next question. First organism was a blank bacteria in Earth. So first organism was a unicellular bacteria, right? Unicellular. First organism was a unicellular bacteria in Earth. Next one. Blank were first multicellular organisms in Earth. So there were three categories: cnidarians, arthropods, and annelids. So you can include anything you want. So I'll include cnidarians. So cnidarians were first multicellular organisms in Earth. Cnidarians. Flora was created by the photosynthetic algae. Right? Flora was created by the photosynthetic algae in the oceans. Next one. Simple living organisms on the Earth changed to complex organisms. Complex organisms. Right? So simple living organisms on the Earth changed to complex organisms. During the process of what? During the process of evolution, my dear children. So with that, we have concluded all the things related to the extra questions, my dear children. So we discuss all the theories related to the this lesson, which is the evolutionary process. And now we have discussed several questions, essay type questions, plus with several MCQ type questions also, right? So with that, I'm going to wind up the lesson, my dear children. So I hope to meet you with the next chapter or with our 10th lesson later with this. Okay, so it's time to say goodbye. I'll meet you with the 10th chapter within our next day. Okay.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.